Alright everybody, welcome back to Conqueror and Commander. Today we're going to be looking at a game featuring my Daxos of Meletis deck. For the complete deck list, go to puremtgo.com, look up my article series Conqueror and Commander, you should see it there. I should also have a link to the list in the video description shortly, if it's not there already. Let's take a look at my opponents in this game. First up, we've got Yosei, the Morningstar. One of the few legendary Kamigawa dragons that I would probably build a deck around. This is actually the first time I've seen it. It'll work well because white actually has a decent amount of recursion, so once you get him out of your command zone, you can just let him go to your graveyard and keep bringing him back and prevent people from untapping. I'd actually, right before this game, had played a different game with this same deck, and I made a few play mistakes and I just dropped out, but this guy ended up taking over and preventing the final guy he was going up against from untapping for like 3 or 4 turns. And that's really hard to deal with. You just have sack effects and recursion, and there you go. So pretty good overall. Next up we have Kaervek the Merciless, usually Rakdos control, but sometimes it's a little bit griefer. This guy goes the grief route, and we'll see what happens there. Then we have Sygg River Cutthroat, Demir. Can just about be anything, but what it does do usually is specialize in taking out small chunks of life over time so that you can draw off of Sygg. When I made a Sygg deck, I made with like a bunch of Enter the Battlefield guys and Ninja guys, so he can be a lot of fun. My opening hand only has 2 lands, so I'm going to send it back. And I go with 3 lands and Talisman of Progress. That's good. So, I'm going to try and whip through this a little bit here. A lot goes on. Sunbeam Spellbomb is an interesting draw card for Yosei. Armillary Sphere will search up some nice basics. Kaervek plays Howling Mine, which is going to be interesting. Serra Ascendant comes out. I go for turn 2 Talisman of Progress. I decide not to cast the Mana Vault because I don't want to get hit first from Serra Ascendant for having 7 mana available on turn 3. Reliquary Tower for Sygg, and then Shadow Mage Infiltrator. Kaervek has not gotten a red source of mana, but does play Megrim, so we can expect some discard. So the Ascendant goes after Sygg first, and then plays Scroll Racks. Usually works well with land tax. I get another land, and I play Daxos, and I finally play Mana Vault, because I don't want to discard stuff from Megrim. The Infiltrator hits Yosei back. He spins his Scroll Rack. Draws a card. Plays Voidstalker. Voidstalker, ever since it came out in M13, should be played more. It's a good tuck spell. It's a nice little rattlesnake. You don't want people to mess with you. Because of this, I don't want Daxos to get tucked. So I'm going to try and appear non-threatening for as long as possible. Kaervek plays Blood Reckoning, which is going to slow people down a little bit. Most people are just going to take the life. I get hit by Ascendant. Draw a few more lands. I hit the Kaervek player, and he reveals... This is a pretty good one, actually. Psychosis Crawler. It's probably like the best pull I've gotten from Daxos. So I play him. He's going to be awesome with Howling Mine, and I Enlighten Tutor to avoid having to discard, and I Tutor for Metamorph, hoping to copy the Psychosis Crawler. Armillary Sphere gets cracked. Elixir of Immortality gets played. Shadow Mage Infiltrator hits Yosei. Alright. Draws him a card. And then he's going to play Sangromancer, which is going to work out very well for him because there is going to be a decent amount of discarding going on in this game. Yeah, Blood Reckoning only hits you for 1 point. I guess that can add up or really hurt like token decks. Painful Quandary, making it tough to cast. So you're either going to lose 5 life or you're going to discard a card and lose 2 life to Megrim whenever you play something. So Enlightened Tutor from Yosei. Searches up Sword of Feast and Famine. I still do have Path to Exile, so I'm not worried about the Ascendant if it comes after me. He puts the sword on the Ascendant and then goes after the Kaervek player. Yosei goes up to 50. Synchromancer gains Sygg some life, and then Gilded Lotus comes out. Pays the life for that. I'm still drawing land. Okay, this was a conscious decision on my part. I send Daxos after Kaervek and my big Psychosis Crawler after Yosei, because I'm a little concerned about the possibility of Condemn happening. He does spin his scroll rack, and he does end up pulling out Condemn for the Crawler. I probably should have used the Metamorph to copy the Crawler. There it goes. Before the attack phase, especially because I was considering it, but it didn't happen. The Swamp is what I got off the top of Kaervek's library. So then I cast Metamorph, I discard a card, and I copy the Serra Ascendant. You know, these guys both have blockers. Shadow Mage Infiltrator comes after me. But I do like having the Ascendant so that I can block stuff. Well, not everything, but most stuff. Liliana Spectre comes out, so now he has a blocker too. And I discard another land. That gains Synchromancer some life. Or the Sygg player some life from Synchromancer. Sygg's at 45, Kaervek's at 26, Yosei's at 36, and I'm at 40. Yosei's commander comes out, and he attacks Kaervek. High Market's out there, so Yosei has a sack outlet if he needs it. Alright. I'm leaving the Mana Vault tapped. I draw Steel of the Godhead. I play it and put it on Daxos. I discard a Johnny, because I just don't think he's going to be that helpful right now. I can't attack into anybody, but I do send Daxos after Kaervek. I guess I could have attacked Kaervek and made him block and got rid of the Spectre. Kaervek still doesn't have any red mana either. Kaervek had a Giant Scorpion on top of his library. I just didn't consider it worth it to actually cast this, so I'm holding off. Sygg attacks Yosei. The Infiltrator draws another card. Casts Nihil Spellbomb. Takes the damage. Alright. Kaervek plays Manalith, so now he does have red mana. And Forsaken Waste. Forsaken Waste is one of those cool old Mirage Enchant world enchantments. Which is going to prevent everybody from gaining life, which hurts me a little bit. But it also hurts the Sygg player. Yeah, all my guys gain life, so it's a little disappointing, but whatever. Not to worry, though. Yosei has a plan. He's going to cast Austere Command, getting rid of little dudes and enchantments. Well, that's going to wipe my board clean right here. That's also going to get rid of Voidstalker. Well, he tapped the High Market, which means he can't sacrifice Yosei, which means that the Voidstalker is going to shuffle him into his library. Bam. And so they both go. That's going to get rid of all those harmful enchantments. Synchromancer now can gain life, and does. So he goes up to, or the Sygg player goes up to 55. Howling Mind's still out there, though. I was considering playing the Consecrated Sphinx, but I go for the Stonehewer Giant instead, because what I want to do is start looking up swords to start beating people up. I probably, in retrospect, could have played the Sphinx just because he's so good. And the Howling Mind out there would mean that I would draw a bunch of cards. But I decided not to do that. Dungeon Geists comes out and taps down my Stonehewer. I'm not too worried about that because I do have Path to Exile. Sygg comes out and draws a card because it got hit for 3 damage, blah blah. Kaervek plays Sire of Insanity. Okay, stop. So the Sire is squeezing the juices out of this guy. That's pretty awesome, actually. But, you know, he's going to make everybody discard. Now, if I'd wanted to, I could have pathed the Sire before his ability went on the stack. Instead, what I do is I path the Dungeon Geists. I'm not sure that was the best play, but my thought was that being able to tutor up stuff with the Stonehewer would help out a ton. And however, I'd be getting rid of all these cards. But Sygg has 12 cards in hand, and I want to just get rid of all those cards. So yeah, I path the Dungeon Geist so that I can untap the Stonehewer. And then Sangromancer, because of all the discard, gains Sygg a ton of life, and he ends up at almost 100 life, I think. Or something like that. Sire is awesome looking in his art. I really think, maybe he's just dipping that guy into the, I want to say he's actually squeezing the juices out of that dude. That'd be pretty awesome if that's what he was doing. So, let's see, Sangromancer. Oh, my computer's being slow for some reason. Puts Sygg up to 97. But, you know, we still have the Howling Mind going for us, so he plays Marshall's Anthem, but Nihil Spellbomb takes out his graveyard. There's the Spellbomb. Put that over there. I go ahead and untap the Mana Vault. My plan is to get Sword of Feast and Famine so that I can untap. I play the Signet. I go after Sygg because he's at 102 life now. And I hit him so that I can untap and then put the sword on the giant. Alright, so Sygg comes out and plays Solemn Simulacrum, which is a good blocker. And I get attacked with Sangromancer, and Sygg goes after this guy. He's the Yosei player. Oh, and then Hypnotic Spectre comes out. Alright. So, Sire of Insanity is hurting people. Kaervek comes out to play. Now, my concern is, when I get hit by the Sire, I drop down to 33. My concern is that the Kaervek sort of forces you to play cards, and I don't want to start getting beamed or like really tagged by Kaervek for playing cards. So I've got to take the Kaervek player out now. Let's see what Yosei does. Yosei plays Gift of Estates, and so the Kaervek player decides to start taking out the Sangromancer. Is just a good idea because to prevent him from gaining more life. Plays Caged Sun. Fine. So I plug out Tame Sparrow and Wrath of God. I attack Kaervek and I search up Fire Shrieker. I put it on the giant and I kill off the Hypnotic Spectre, and that kills off the Kaervek player. Alright. So I draw another card and I can play Gilded Lotus. I'm going to hold off on Time Spiraling right now because both my opponents have 0 cards in hand and I've got a tutor here. Sygg, however, is going to start drawing cards off of the Sygg ability. He ends up attacking Yosei. Yosei... What's Yosei doing? One thing I got to keep in mind is that if I use the Sword of Fire and Ice twice on one of my opponent that's not Sygg, Sygg draws a card. Come on. Don't crap out on me. Oh, Marshall's Coup. For like 15 or something like that. Bam! So there is more than enough power on that table right there to take me out. Luckily I do have Wrath of God here. So I Wrath. My concern was, you know, I didn't want to get taken out. And it's a possibility and he even says, he's like, hey, I would have tried to like whittle down Sygg's life total, but I just didn't want to. I mean, it's I just didn't want to die. So Sygg comes back out. And Yosei has nothing. Plays land. So I put the 2 swords on Daxos and Fire Shrieker. And I play Cradle of Vitality. And I'm going to draw cards. He has Mycosynth Wellspring off the top of his library, and the next card was Profane Command. So, that makes Daxos big enough to be a 10-10 double striker. And I draw Archangel and Drogskull Reaver. I could have played the Profane Command. Yeah, I'm not really sure I needed to or not. I mean, is there a creature in my graveyard I wanted? No, not really. The Metamorph. But I don't... Nah, I didn't need it. So basically, Sygg's going to die to my commander next turn. Expedition Map, however, for Maze of Ith would completely stop me. But he doesn't have it, and he says that all he did was draw land the past couple turns. Somnifor is a cool looking card, actually. Alright. So, Yosei draws Trading Post, which is a good way to block me, because the goats are white. I don't have protection from white on Daxos right now. And they're 0/1s, which means that they can block Daxos all day. Actually, they'll be 2/3s, which is still big enough to block Daxos. Alright, so I end up playing Drogskull Reaver to help with my card draw, and the Sygg player concedes, which means that I end up attacking the Yosei player. This is a little rough because the Yosei player was likely not expecting to have to block, and he ends up missing the trigger to block and makes the goat token too late. Actually, no, let me just take that back. He said that it didn't give him the opportunity to make the goat token, which occasionally happens sometimes. But he's at 19 right now, and I've got a 10-10 double striker that's just going to get bigger. So that ends up killing him off. So it says he didn't let me respond to the stack, which kind of sucks. But, what I was going to do was Mystical Tutor for Return to Dust so that I could deal with his problematic trading post and stuff like that, and he wasn't going to be drawing into anything probably soon. So ideally, I could have played Archangel of Thune or Return to Dust or whatever and had the Drogskull Reaver and the Archangel out there and killed him next turn. So, anyways, it was an interesting game with interesting opponents. Hope you guys enjoyed it.